Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to my weekly lecture. I hope you guys are truly benefiting from these lectures. Now, today, I'm going to be talking about the power of small numbers and of long-term thinking. Small numbers and long-term thinking. And there's a relationship between the two. For you guys as entrepreneurs, there is a very strong relationship between small numbers and long-term thinking. Now, let's start with what's happening in the news currently, right? Aside from all the trouble that is happening in the Middle East, there's something else much more significant that is gone below the radar. Nobody is paying much attention to, which is that China has just revealed their next 5-year plan. And it's the 15th 5-year plan. 5-year plan number 15. What does this tell you? It tells you that for the past 15 times 5, which is 75 years, China, well, since the late 1950s, China has been growing via these 5-year plans. So every 5 years, they bring the government, they bring academia, they bring industry, they bring the international community together, and they say, look, what do we want to achieve in the next 5 years as a country? So they put a plan into place. You always start a plan with what you want. What is the end result? And so they put a plan in place. This is the end result we want. So they have their first 5-year plan, second, third, fourth, so every 5 years. This year is their 15th 5-year plan. Now, see, China's a massive and a powerful country, but they didn't just get there. They got there through these 5-year plans. Long-term thinking, incremental steps. They didn't say, we want to get rich overnight. They didn't say, we want to take over this and that country. Pretty much what the US is doing right now. They thought they can just go into Iran and take over and get the oil and be rich. China said, look, we'll do business with the whole world, and we're not going to focus on, we're going to try to grow too fast. We'll do 5-year plans and then another and another. Now, let me show you something, some very interesting statistics. As entrepreneurs, you guys need to know these things, right? I'm looking for the screen to share with you. Found it. Right. Now take a look at this chart. This chart shows the comparative growth of China, which is the blue line, versus Western Europe. Now, Western Europe at one stage, up until World War II, was the global superpower. What America is today, Western Europe was. It's only after World War II, after the 1945, that America became the world's superpower. But before that, it was Western Europe. Now, and they ruled massive parts of the world. They were the colonialists, the main chief colonialists. They colonized pretty much the whole of Africa, India, China, South America, and they were the global superpower. Massive economies. Now, take a look at this. In 1980, look at where China's economy was, right down there, rock bottom. And look at Western Europe, right there at the top. But fast forward, and you see roundabout just before 2010. In fact, some economists say it didn't happen in 2010. Give me a second. I'm admitting a couple of people. They say that catch up is only happening this year, or between 2020 and this year, when China's economy caught up to that of Europe. But nonetheless, they are more or less the same now. But look at this. They say by 2050, China's economy is going to be 4 times that of Western Europe. Can you see that? So Western Europe is on a decline, partly because colonialism ended, partly because Africa is saying, no more, we're not giving you free resources anymore, but also largely because the hard work and long-term thinking of the Chinese, who are incredible people. They are people who know to put your head down and work your backside out, sorry for the language, but to work your backside out and look at the next so many years. Now that is entrepreneurship. And China's focus, as per the next 5-year plan, is AI, technology, entrepreneurship, all 3 of which you guys are learning here at IT Varsity, right? So the Chinese can't be wrong about this. In the next couple of decades, their economy is going to be stronger than that of the US also, because the US is getting poorer and poorer and poorer. You think these wars come cheap? These wars are flippin' expensive. So the US economy is going down. They are spending more money than they are making. They are spending more than they are. So USA is in debt, heavily in debt. You know, it's like this guy who wants to show the whole world he's rich, right? And so he goes to the bank and he borrows money, and he goes and he takes a credit card and he goes to Woolworths and he buys things on credit, and he's driving a smart car. He's driving, a BMW. He's wearing the best. He's got a palatial home, but it's all on debt. It's all on debt. He's owing heavily for that. Now compare that's USA. Compare that to China. China is like this guy who's living in a small house somewhere, not making a big noise. He's driving a Toyota, a Toyota Starlet, but he's got millions in the bank and he's owing nobody nothing, or he's owing a small amount of money and he's got millions stashed. That's the difference between the USA and the Chinese. That's the difference between many South Africans. When you see a person moving it up with a BMW or a Mercedes Benz and living in a palatial home, don't get fooled, friends. Don't get fooled. How much of it is actually stuff they own? And if you worked hard and you made that much money, you would not want to spend it on a 3 million rand vehicle. No serious entrepreneur. You know, I met Alan Not Craig Jr. So Alan Not Craig Jr. is a friend of mine. I met him for the first time a few years ago. His father, Alan Not Craig Sr., is the founder of Vodacom. Astute businessman, is super wealthy. So I went to Stellenbosch to meet him. And he said, come here, I'll show you something. He pointed at a Toyota, what was that car? Before even the Yaris, not the Corolla, there was a hatchback. Forgot the name. Small Toyota hatchback. There was a dude driving that thing, right? He said, you see that guy there? He's a billionaire. So I asked him, Taz, yes, that's the one. So I asked him, why does a guy drive this car like this if he's a billionaire? He said, because that's how the people are here. A true billionaire, a wealthy person, understands the value of money. So they don't go and show the world how rich they are. They don't need to. They are rich. They don't need to show that, oh, look at me, how rich I am. You know, one day I was in the airport in the line, and this lady in front of me was wearing this absolutely hideous pair of tackies. And it had a name. It's one of these brand names. I can't even remember. It was, I don't know. You know, you go to some of these fancy malls. You go to the Pearls in Amschlanga, all these fancy Gucci, I don't know. I can't remember the name. So I looked at the shoes and I saw the name and I'm thinking, why on earth would anybody wear that? So I went and I looked it up on the internet. My God, that pair of tackies was 12,000 rands. How much? 12,000 rands for a shitty pair of tackies. Sorry for my language. 12 grand. Today, we want to be we want to be stupid. We want to show people how much money we have. Who cares, right? But China, on the other hand, looked after the money. Look at them. Look at them go. Look at that economy rising and rising and rising. But Western Europe was spending and spending and spending. Western Europe wanted to show the world how much money they got. They wanted to show how powerful they were. So now, China's economy is overtaken. You understand? So you as entrepreneurs, I want you to remember something. Work hard and focus on gradual growth. Don't try to get rich overnight. How many people got swindled by scammers doing cryptocurrency scams? How many people? Why? Because they promised you're going to make so much of money. Daniel, more money than brains. I promise you, I don't like to speak bad of people. I love human beings in general. But some people just ask for it. They just ask for it. They just ask to be spoken to like that. Anyways, grow your money over time. Business, and this I keep telling you guys, is like a fruit tree. That fruit tree, you plant it today, you buy the seedling, you plant it. That thing is going to take its own time to grow. But you have to make all the effort. You have to fertilize it. You have to water it. You have to take care of it. You have to put a cage around it so the monkeys don't attack it, or the cats and the dogs don't attack it. And only after 4 or 5 years will it give you your first fruit. And that too, that fruit will be probably sour, even when it's ripe. But as the time goes, the day will come when that thing is so laden with fruit that you and your family can eat and eat and eat. That is business for you guys. That is the way of the world. That's the way of the universe. Yeah, some people enjoy success earlier. Some people enjoy success later. But the way of the world is this, that things take time. You see what I'm getting at? Right. I'm going to stop sharing, but I'll come back to this. Right. So you've seen China's growth over time. Now I'm going to show you, that's a success story. Now I'm going to tell you about 3 massive failure stories. First failure story. This year, Mark Zuckerberg announced that come June, Meta is closing down the metaverse. So they tried something and they put 90 billion US dollars. No, 80 billion US dollars into the metaverse. And now they're shutting it down. $80 billion, and they only had 900 subscribers. 900 subscribers. Absolute failure. Think about how much of money is 80 billion. Multiply that by 17. Your calculator will break. To get it in rands, 90 billion US dollars in rands. That's about 1.5, then 7, 8 years. It's about almost 2 trillion rands. Don't even ask me how much money that is. I don't know. Why? Why did this happen? Because Meta thought we're going to throw money. We're going to throw money at this problem, and it's going to at this tree, and this tree is going to produce much faster. Remember what the guys in India told me? A woman takes 9 years to bear a child. You can't get 2 women to bear the same child in 4.5 months. Not 9 years, 9 months. You can't get two women to bear the same child in 4.5 months. Some things cannot be rushed. So first thing, Meta. Second, Saudi Arabia. See, the Arabs, lovely people, but they got it easy. They struck the lotto. I mean, they found oil under the ground and they became rich. They didn't need to strive for it. They didn't need to work hard for it. It came to them. And now you see they are making one big, massive financial mistake after another. The most famous one currently is the NEOM, that line city that Saudi Arabia wanted to build. Oh my God, they spent tens of billions of dollars into that, only to say, we're shutting it down. And they're the ones that are investing in the AI bubble that's happening in the US. Listen to me. The worst place to invest your money right now is in AI companies in the US. You'd rather invest in AI in China. because China's got a solid business model where the US is more money, more money, more money, which segues me now into the third failure story, third massive failure story. Microsoft is closing down Copilot. $50 billion down the tubes. Why? Microsoft thought they're going to do something big. They thought they're going to spend $50 billion, incorporate Copilot into Windows, into Office, into Excel, into pretty much everything. Flopped. Why? They got it easy. It was made for them. Bill Gates used his father's government contacts to get Microsoft to where it was. The moment they got Windows adopted by IBM, it was easy money from there. You see what I'm saying? When you work hard on a business, you build up your business acumen so you can see what's a good business idea, what's a bad business idea. You can see where to spend money, where not to spend money. And I learned that the hard way. It's regrettable. I could have retired on the amount of money that I wasted in my business. But these were all learning experiences. So I want you to keep that in mind. When you do business, part of what we teach you in this course is financial management. Looking after your money. It's not about being a trillionaire. It's not. I've been at this. IT Varsity online went live just before lockdowns in COVID. Am I a multi-billionaire rich man? No, I'm not. It's still a struggle every day. We work very hard. My team and I, we work very hard every day. We work for that living. But we know there's a long-term picture. Another 5 years, another 7 years, the business will grow. So it's long-term thinking. Those that have short-term thinking are almost never successful. And I'll give you another example before I go to my second 5-year plan for IT Varsity, of which you are part of. You see, there was an experiment done in the US with some kids. This was many years ago, good few decades ago. So they put these kids in a room, sat them down. There was a table. On the table, there was a marshmallow. So they said to these children, they were like 5-6-year-old children. They said to these kids that here's the marshmallow. Let's imagine this is a marshmallow. Here's the marshmallow. I want you to sit here and look at it. If you eat it, no problem. It's fine. But if you don't eat it, when I come back, I'm going to give you another one. Then we'll have 2. So they had cameras and they watched those kids now, different kids. So some were looking at it, they ate it. The others, they looked at it, picked it up, put it back down, they didn't eat it. They earned the second marshmallow. Now fast forward a few decades, 3-4 decades down the line, and 100% of the kids who waited were successful. And those who didn't wait were working for those who were successful. See what I mean? If you have the ability to think long term, to put away what's good for today for what's better for tomorrow, you will be successful. It's just a matter of time. And that's the best lesson you can get in business. Now, last week and the previous week we spoke about e-commerce. And one of the first things I told you guys was, what is your budget? Work out what is your target? How much do you want to earn? Right? Now this is what we did at IT Varsity. We didn't put it so much in terms of earnings, we put it more in terms of number of students who we reached. So come 2020, first 5-year plan was firstly for the business to survive. We were a garage operation, literally we were working out of my garage. So the first 5 years we said, we hope to reach about 10 to 15,000 people. We reached 300,000. Not 10,000, 300,000. So here's my next 5-year plan. My next 5-year plan, 2 million. 2 million students, 2 million South Africans empowered, transformed mentally, starting their own business. At least 10% of them, 200,000 people must start their own businesses, and I want you to be among those people. And I'll show you something else. Let me show you another interesting slide. It's actually not a slide, it's a spreadsheet. Okay, take a look at this. Here's my long-term thinking, a little goes a long way thinking. Let's say you as an entrepreneur, you bring your business up to a point where you are earning $1,000 per month. 1,000 US, I'm not saying million, I'm saying 1,000. How much is that? 17,000 rands per month. Let's say you are making 70, and I've got students who did that, right? Some were web designers, some were graphic designers, some were doing e-commerce, and they were making about 17,000 rands a month, 1,000 US dollars per month. Now, if I take that number and multiply it by 1,000, see, this is still a small number. 1,000, we've got 40 million youth here in this country. What's 1,000 compared to 40 million people? So if I can train, you are pioneers with me. If we can spread the word and get people, 1,000 young entrepreneurs, to make 1,000 US dollars a month, that's $1 million a month. 1,000 times 1,000 is a million. Together, they are bringing $1 million, which is 17 million rands into South Africa's economy. 17 million rands per month. Multiply that by 12, long story short, 204 million rands per year, 1/5 of a billion rands, only 1,000 small entrepreneurs working in coffee shops, working in the townships, working in the rural areas, doing what? Web design, graphic design, software development, AI services, accounting services, e-commerce, drop shipping, you name it. You name it, only 1,000 people. That will be, in a 5-year period, those 1,000 people will contribute $1 billion rands into South Africa's economy. $1 billion rands into the country's economy. And what happens when the economy gets strong? Everybody gets stronger. But that's just 1,000. My vision is 200,000. See, that's the other thing about business, right? You have to be audacious. You have to think big target sometimes. What you want and a little more on top of that. You might hit it, you might not. Let's see what you guys are saying. Kerwin says that's wild. Yeah. Kerwin says, as an OS enthusiast, Microsoft started losing trust from their consumers because how AI they implemented into their Windows and started backtracking a lot of it to reduce the AI. Yeah, as it is, Windows was very bloated. Right. The main reason I switched from Windows to Mac was I saw back in 2012, 2013 that Windows is not going in a good direction. Mac was a lot better. Nowadays, Mac has gone a little bloated, and I'm probably going to switch to Linux. Actually, I do have a Linux machine, so I'm probably going to switch. It's just availability of software. That's the problem, right? I don't know why Linux is not a bigger thing. Danielle says, oh my word, I used that marshmallow story yesterday to explain my kids the analogy of instant. Great minds, Danielle. Great minds think alike. Okay, so that's great. Teach your children long-term thinking. They will be successful entrepreneurs. They will be, I mean, man, I left a top-notch job. Can't tell you how much I was earning. I was like the global head of learning and teaching for a massive institute to focus on IT varsity. Up till today, IT varsity pays me less than maybe a quarter of what I was earning there. But the one thing I keep telling myself, I will never be able to become wealthy on that job. I will not be able to leave that job to my children. I will not be able to sell that job. But my business, yeah, You can't get wealthy in a business. You can leave a business to your kids. You can sell a business, but not a job, not a profession, not a qualification. Cool. I'm going to stop there. And I want to just recap and tell you guys, when you look into the world right now, you'll see very clearly those who are working hard, not making a lot of noise, doing business deals. They say, with the whole world, let's do business. And that's why I admire the Chinese. I admire the Turks. I admire the Iranians also, because they are people that just want to do business with everybody. South Africans are hardworking, enterprising people. We are great people. We have a lovely country with lovely people. I don't care what the political situation is and things. The people are fantastic. What we need now is for you guys to become leaders, for you guys to take over, start businesses. Please, young South Africans, forget employment and start becoming employers. And I'll conclude on that. Let's open for a discussion. Let's talk. Is it just me, or does Bilal have a washing machine? No, there's no washing machine. Are you hearing that sound? It's this fan. This ceiling fan is quite noisy if you're talking about the sound. Right? So the China example, yeah, it's to inspire you guys. It's to inspire you guys. You can learn from what others are doing. And you'll see some of the strongest businesses on the planet, and many of the founders I know personally in this country, it took them a while to build up their businesses. I mean, one of my personal friends and mentors was Dr. Yusuf Karodia. He passed away a couple of years ago. He was the founder of Menkosa and Regent Business School. Man, this guy battled. He battled. Took his business 12 years to become profitable. And in the following, after another 12 years, he sold it for R1 billion. Now, I'm not saying these kind of numbers are everything. They're not. They're not. For the next person, R1 billion means nothing. I mean, for most of us South Africans, the cost of living in this country is relatively low. If you are making like a 55,000 net every month, I think you are in the top 5% of South Africans. It's a lot to be grateful for. So don't get carried away with these big numbers that you hear in the American tech sector, $1 trillion and $3 trillion. It's not real. Listen, it's not real. You can't tell Apple is a $2 trillion company apparently. You can't tell them, show us your $2 trillion valuation or withdraw $2 trillion from the bank. You can't. It's just perceptions. It's just numbers on a screen. So focus, guys, on building solid businesses with true value. Any questions? Let's fire away. Come on, guys. I like discussions. I don't like monologues. Talk to me. You can unmute yourself also. America has banned routers. I didn't know about that. I wonder what's the reason for that. Somebody just came in now. Oh yes, yeah, the Xiaomi routers, no, the Huawei routers were banned. It's just paranoia, right? Right, Tasneem says, update on my nephew who just passed matric. Apparently he is now studying a BCom instead of doing his car detailing business. My brother just said he's possibly facing retrenchment, a big client leaving his company. Isn't it wiser for my nephew to start a business instead as they face those possible challenges? Tasneem, what can I say? This is the South African mentality. This is something that we have to constantly fight against, because our minds are so colonized. We are so colonial in our thinking that we still believe this. I mean, look, let's say he really wants to do a BCom. He doesn't have to study full time. I mean, you can study at UNISA, Mancosa, Region. There's like 20 different places you can do a BCom degree part-time. Work part-time, start your business, run your business, and study part-time. Spend 2-3 hours a day studying. What these kids want to do, they want to go to university, they want campus life, they want to go out at night, they want to meet up with their next girlfriend or friend or boyfriend or whoever, and they want to enjoy it. But it's going to come back and bite them. I'm so sorry to hear about your brother. I hope it works out best for him. But it's a tragedy. It's a disaster. So Nata says, doesn't look like anyone has any to ask today. Okay, Mushumo, what's your question? Laverne says, how do you promote your business in a market that seems to be congested? Laverne, simple. 2 words I'll give you. Relationships and differentiation. Relationships and differentiation. Don't aim to own the whole market. Find your niche. Find people who you can relate to and make them your customers. Remember, in South Africa, if you've got 1,000 solid customers, you don't need the whole of Johannesburg. If you've got 1,000 good customers, say depends on the business, on a retail business, you're doing well. If you're a service person, let's say you're an electrician or a plumber or something, and you've got about 50 good customers, that's it. You don't need anybody else. You can live comfortably. I know these tradespeople that are earning like 110,000 rands a month net, but with a few clients, 50, 60 clients. So keep that in mind. Relationships and differentiation. What makes you different? What makes you stand out? What impression do you leave in the mind of your customer? Let's say you did a electrical job for somebody. What will make that person say, hey, you know that electrician Laverne, that guy is top notch, man. Who? You're looking for an electrician? Laverne. I'll vouch for that guy. So think about that. Mushumo says mic isn't okay. Mushumo, then text it. Text whatever you're saying. I can't let you not ask your question. Your question. So Tasneem, I think the answer to your question is very straightforward. Don't choose either or. You can do a win-win. Your nephew could do a win-win. Study part-time, work, and start his business part-time. Even if it takes him 4 or 5 years to do his BCom, by that time his business would be mature. He can choose what he wants to do after that. Go and work, keep the business, sell the business because he's got equity. We often forget that a business has equity, right? So Tasneem says also, what is China doing right that South Africa is not doing right? Entrepreneurship. South Africans want to go and work for all the big companies. For a South African, it's such a big thing. Hey, I'm working for Amazon. Why don't you become the founder of the next Amazon, the African Amazon? See what I'm saying? So that's what we are not doing. I can go on a rant about the quality of education and things, but that's a different thing. So Mushumu says, I've been trying to start an e-commerce business, but I'm struggling to find a guide or someone who will teach me. How do I go forward without spending an arm and a leg? Mushumu, that's why you are here. I mean, I'm assuming you are doing the CDE course. You are already learning. You are attending these lectures every week. Attend these lectures and also ask questions in the exclusive group. The main thing is, don't wait for your knowledge to be perfect to feel comfortable that I know everything before you start. This is a kind of thing that the job teaches you the job. Nobody can teach you theoretically, for example, how to ride a bicycle. You just have to sit and you have to try it. You can read 40 books on riding a bicycle. You'll never learn how to ride a bicycle until you sit on a bike and you move. So, number one, you are here. You're part of our community. We'll help you to grow. Number two, get started. Start in a small way, right? Start from home. Don't ever spend tons of money. Remember, my one investor friend always said that use your own money to make your business, to start your business and bring it to a level where you're earning some revenue. Then I'll come and invest in you. Before that, I won't invest in you. Cool, guys, let's leave it at that. I wanted to finish at 11:30. Keeping into consideration those of you who are working, thank you so much for being here. Remember, if you didn't get to ask your question here, you can always ask your question on the exclusive WhatsApp group. Thanks a lot, guys, and have a lovely day. Bye-bye.